Management Podcast. It's your host, Johannes Harrison. So happy to be with each and every one of you today. I know we've been on this trend where we've been talking about food a lot. So last week we had John Thomas on. He was a vegan, or is a vegan bodybuilder. He actually had his show last weekend. I didn't see how he placed. So somebody tweet me. Let me know how he placed. So John, you tell me how you placed. Tell me how you did. I know you did well. I mean, because you got up on stage with all your muscles and stuff. But he talked about, how he became a vegan. This week, I have a special treat. It's always a special treat when we have a guest, but I have Dr. Cee Nicole. She got a bunch of letters behind her name. You can read those. We'll talk about what they mean in a minute. And we are going to be talking about food as well, because as you're listening to this, it's either right after you just finished stuffing yourself for the little holiday that we had this week, or maybe you're thinking about the holiday that's coming up, or you're listening to this in the middle of summertime. You're still going to eat no matter when it is. You got to eat. You got to eat to live. But sometimes we tend to overdo it. So in case this is your first time tuning in, my name again is Johannes Harrison. I am a financial advisor, CEO, and founder of MoneyScript Wealth Management, where we help people make better decisions with their money. I host the MoneyScript podcast. This is similar to, if any of you have heard Jay-Z's interview, was it with Gayle King? And they were talking about, okay, if you could have $500,000 or take lunch with Jay-Z, which one would you choose? And Jay-Z said himself, take the 500,000 and buy my albums. Well, this is that. Okay. So if you had to choose between, okay, I don't know, can I hire a financial advisor? I'm not ready yet. Here's free game. We're going to give away free game right here. And sometimes we talk about things that aren't necessarily directly related to money, but food does cost money. So I want to talk about a quick current event that is near and dear to all of our hearts, and that is the cost of food. For those of you that are buying or holiday shopping for food, there's good news. We have experienced a little bit, tiny bit of deflation in the cost of food. I know we've been talking about inflation for the past few years, but we have seen that food prices came down. If you're the type of person that buys a turkey, good news. The turkey does cost a little less than it did last year, because last year was expensive. They had like a bird flu, and then there was a flood, and basically all the turkeys died before they could make it to our table. Well, I guess they died to make it before our table, but they weren't edible. We couldn't eat them. So turkey prices came down just a little bit, but I was just looking at this with a client earlier this week. If you look on aggregate since 2020 to today, the average cost of food is up 25%. That's average. Now, there's going to be certain types of food that are going to be up more. Some produce, et cetera, usually has a little bit greater inflation versus what you may see in, I don't know, saltine crackers. But on average, the average American today is spending 25% more on food. And I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say it. I mean, some of you may take offense to this. My daughter thinks it's a bad word, but we're going to say it. America's fat, y'all. We are the heaviest population on the planet. Okay. The heaviest. We have the most additives and poor eating habits with our foods. We are the absolute worst. So we are going to talk to an expert today. So let's take a minute, go ahead and introduce her to the show. Everyone, please welcome. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you've seen her this whole time. She's been sitting there giggling. But for those of you watching on YouTube, and for those of you just listening, please welcome Dr. Cee Nicole, MD, MSW, diplomat, ABOM. I don't know what it means, but she's going to tell us all about it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. First thing I'm going to do is correct you. We do have the highest rates of obesity. Someone is not fat. They may have obesity. They may have overweight. And the reason why that's important, and we'll go into this later, is because no one should be described by their physical description.
See, I done got corrected already. She done put me in my place.
Yeah, because you know what?
You're right.
No, because for a very long time, but we will definitely talk about this a lot later in this podcast. But that's a big reason why a lot of people don't seek care, is because of words like that. And it's not your fault, because that's for a very long time the way we were taught to describe and talk about overweight and obesity, right? It's a describer that someone is versus something that someone has, and the two are very different.
So I have fat. I am not fat.
Yeah, you correct.
Okay.
Just like
so I have some extra fat around my midsection, but that doesn't make me fat. I just have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Got it. Okay,
And
I
it
appreciate that.
takes a little while to get used to, but the answer is
Okay.
yes.
Oh, it's dropping gems already. So tell us, what gives you the authority in this category? What is it that you do?
Yeah, so those fancy whole bunch of letters. So the last part is that a diplomat of the American Board of Obesity Medicine. So I'm board certified.
Oh yeah, you are the authority. Okay, you are the authority.
I don't know about authority, but I
Hey, you authorized me.
I
Okay.
try to be, and I spend a lot of time reading and studying so that I can speak with as much authority as possible.
Beautiful.
Mostly because I think people who look like us deserve that.
Hey, amen. That is why the Money Script podcast is here. It's for it. It is. That's why it's free. This is free game for our underserved.
Right.
That's why it's here. So what I want to start with is I was told that you are now a published author, and I want to talk a little bit about your book because first of all, I love the cover. I love
Yeah.
the illustrations, and it's very near and dear to my heart because I am a girl dad.
Yeah.
And the title of your book, and we'll have links to the book in the show notes here, but the title of the book is "But the Scale Says." Can you tell us a little bit about the why behind that book and who is it for?
It is for young, old, and everything in between, but it's for girls who have currently are maybe have kids, sisters, whatever, struggling with weight. And it really is a book of affirmation to kind of help differentiate between weight and all of the other characteristics that make us beautiful. Beautiful, smart, strong, kind, and really just letting women know, girls know that all of those things don't have anything to do with the number on the scale. And we can be beautiful, we can be kind, we can be smart, we can be strong, and we can be brave, and we can be all these things. And you can be all of them no matter how much the scale says you weigh. And I think that this was important for me to write because as I work with patients, one of the things that I am constantly correcting patients,
Like you corrected me. Like you
correct.
corrected me. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's that, because we get told, and I use the word we because a lot of patients and people don't know, because you've known me.
I know.
I Yeah, I mean, I am a certain size now, but I had my own weight journey, and part
Yeah,
of that
you had to work hard to be where you are right now. Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
but part of that weight journey is I was quite a bit larger, but and part of that was, you know, dealing with my own stress and trauma and, bad marriage and things like that. And, then having to, like you said, work to, kind of get that weight off. But at that time, I knew that the weight wasn't who I was. It was a product of what I was going through. Right.
Mm.
And just like it is for most people, but trying to, encourage our young ladies that, when they look in the mirror, it doesn't matter what they hear from other people. It doesn't matter what they see on TV and social media. I put in the notes or I guess the description of the book. My hope is that, we can teach young ladies that when they're searching for love, that they never have to go any further than the mirror to find it. And that is my hope, that by reading the book, that we can encourage them in that way.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Amen to that. So yeah, I actually I have had my own weight journey as well. Don't let the cheekbones fool you because they're a little chubby right now. But there's a whole so I've been on Facebook since Facebook's been
Yeah.
around. There's a whole about 18 months of a gap on Facebook where you see no photos of me
Mhm.
because I got to the point where I was so self-conscious about my weight. I mean, I would go to the beach and be the only guy with a shirt on.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person where the weight only goes in two places, my gut and my butt.
Mhm.
And I went from a 35 waist to pushing a 40, like my 38s weren't fitting.
Yeah.
Okay. and it was all gut and butt. And I was just like, oh my God. And I had to go through that whole process of, getting back active. And a lot of it because went through the bad marriage, and there was that, and the stresses of co-parenting and the stresses of my job. I was making good money and all the good stuff. It just wasn't taking care of myself, sitting in a chair all day, adding sugar and cream to my coffee 3-4 times a day, eating whatever snacks and donuts showed up in the break room. They knew better. Like, make sure you save some for yo. I was the boss at the time. Like, don't let me come in and y'all ate all the bagels. Nah.
Right.
But that was the lifestyle I was living. And so I just started to reflect what I was doing. But the thing about it is that, especially with us as adults, it's not some place we arrive to, well, even with kids, but we usually don't arrive there overnight.
No, you don't.
It's the same thing with your money, people. See, look at that. I brought it back to money. Okay. You don't just wake up with a large credit card bill. It doesn't work that way. Yes, sometimes we have an emergency and it's like, oh, I had to put this big expense on there. And yes, it could happen overnight, but most people that have credit card debt is from week in, week out, weekend out of spending. And then you look up and you're like, oh, now I have all this debt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it also works in your favor.
Yeah.
When it comes to saving, because you just save little by little by little. You look up, you're like, whoa, where'd all this money come from? Okay, but it's those little things. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, and that's why using proper terminology is kind of so important. Because
when I remind people that you are not broke, your bank account is just low. You are not your bank account. See, I could have taken my own lesson on. You know what? I needed to have this moment. I appreciate you. I needed this. America, I apologize. Don't cancel me. Hopefully you made it through the 11th minute of this podcast. I think we're at minute 9 technically since it's recording. I know we're at 11. Hopefully you made it all the way here. I apologize. I used the wrong terminology. America, you are not fat. America, you just happen to have a little extra weight in some areas where you may be classified medically as obese, or what is the one right before obese?
Obesity.
Having obesity. Or having borderline obesity.
Correct.
Okay. But as it says, you are not what the scale says. You get to love you for who you are, and you get to make some different decisions, do some different things. So let's talk about what to do different. So you started a telemedicine company called Wait a Minute Clinic. And of course, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a play on words. The link is in the show notes. So if you're someone that wants to learn a bit more, the link is there. Telemedicine. So tell us, what does Wait a Minute Clinic do?
Yeah. So we essentially treat obesity, overweight and obesity. And we do so on purpose, virtually, mostly because weight is a sensitive subject to talk about. And so we do so in what I believe to be someone's most comfortable place, which is your home. And I always like to try to differentiate between weight and obesity. We're not a weight loss clinic. We do not shuffle shots or push pills. Now
so we can't get that new one from, what's that new one that everyone's just taking off the shelf?
Prescribe meds. We absolutely do prescribe medications, but we do more than that, because we are also going to address your hypertension, your prediabetes and diabetes. We're going to make sure like the medicines that you're taking for one thing don't counteract the medicines that we're giving you. So we're trying to treat the whole picture, right? So if you have high cholesterol, it kind of makes no sense for me to give you this medicine to help you lose weight, but I'm going to ignore the fact that every night you're going home and eating a ground beef burger and your cholesterol. Like, I want to treat the whole person. I want at the end of our time together for you to walk out whole and ultimately to not have to take any medications. And I think that is where I think that's where a lot of us run into problems. Right? We've all been to the doctor, right? At best, we're actually in the room with our doctor for maybe 8 minutes. They make you think, right? That's at best. But they make you think your entire visit is maybe 30, 40 minutes, right? By the time you check in, you get your vital signs.
And they tell us to come 20 minutes early.
Right. So you got the whole visit, but the doctor is in the room, right, with you 8 to 9 minutes, right? You're doing things, you get a little counsel, but there's no way that a doctor can go over your lab values and then talk to you about what you're eating and then kind of go over what you should be eating next and kind of do all of that at the same time. Like it doesn't happen, right? And God forbid you have a question. Nobody's
Oh, yeah, don't ask no questions.
Don't ask
No, I like how now they'll ask you, do you have any questions for the doctor? Like the nurse is asking the questions before, and then you ask the question, and then half the time the nurse is like, oh, well, here's the answer to that. It's like, wait, no, that question was for the doctor.
No, because we don't have time. Right.
No.
But this allows that time because the visits are initially like an hour. And so we're literally
what, an hour with the doctor?
Yeah, your first visit is an hour.
Wow. I want to come just to spend an hour. Well, I'm getting 15 minutes of you so far. So that's good. All right. So I'm doing pretty good.
And we're going over all these things. I want to know how you were born. I want to know what you eat for breakfast. I want to know what medicines you're taking. Do you actually take them? Right. I want to know. Right. I want to know, kind of what your family history is. And we're going over all of these. What have you tried to lose weight? How successful was it? What did you like? What didn't you like? And we're kind of going over all of these things to figure out your plan, not what works for the masses, not some generic kind of recommendations, but like, what is your plan? And then we meet every month to see how it's going.
Yeah, see, right back to money again. Y'all, does it sound like financial planning? Yes, it does. Your plan, not the plan that someone that wrote a book. Speaking of which, I got to take time out. This is totally unrelated, but I promise I'd bring it up on one of these podcasts. I got a couple more podcasts tomorrow, so I might bring it up again. So if you hear it again, just bear with me. If you are a follower of Dave Ramsey, he says some things that I agree with completely. But every now and then he says something that is so far off base. If you've been following him lately, if you listen to his show the other day, he said that you can get a 12% return and take 8% out and never have to worry about running out of money. That is, I'm just going to use the word bullshit. Okay. Don't try it at home, people. It works for people that have hundreds of millions of dollars that don't need their money. Okay. But if you're like the rest of us common folks and you're not rolling hundreds of millions, do not think you're going to get a 12% return every year and you can take out 8% and everything's going to be okay. You will go broke. Okay. I don't know why Dave said that. And I'm calling him out. I've been calling him out on Twitter. I've been calling him out on LinkedIn. I'm calling him out everywhere. That is BS. But it goes to the statement that was just made by our physician here that it comes down to your plan. That's Dave's plan. Okay. And a lot of times when we're on Twitter or on LinkedIn, we're on, well, not so much LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever, we'll see these plans out there on how you can lose weight or lose 10 pounds in 30 days or whatever. That's not your plan. That is a plan for them to make money selling plans. Dave makes money selling books and advertisements for his shows. I don't make any money off this show yet. I am open to advertisers. If you would like to advertise on the show, please contact. But you know what? I'm not going to advertise on the show. I refuse to take any mutual funds or banks or whatever. And no, I'll do a cash management app. Like, what's that new app? Yeah. Y'all want me at Monarch. Y'all out there doing some big things. Y'all need some advertising. We got some listeners for you if you're listening. But back to your point. I like to talk about money on the show. Having a plan that's specific for them, I think that is incredible. And I think that is what can help people feel more motivated to take action because of the time and energy that you're pouring into them. They can then get that, okay, someone's rooting for me. Someone put something together that fits me. I was able to be honest and say, yeah, I don't really take my blood pressure meds like I'm supposed to. Or, I got a little sweet tooth problem at night. Come 11 o'clock, I got to have something sweet. Did I just say that out loud? Come 11 o'clock, I got to have something sweet. It happens. That's me. I do it. Sometimes for me, I can just get one scoop of ice cream and I'm good. Okay. But I have to
the issue. I mean, and the realness about that is great. So you like sweets at 11 o'clock at night. I'm not mad at it. Let's find a plan that works around you waking up or you eating at 11 o'clock at night.
I think I
And
just got to do like 20 push-ups before I go to sleep.
or
That's what I
not,
got
or not
to.
like, or whatever. But the
Oh, where do
key,
I change things in the
right,
rest of my
the rest of
day so
the
that
day
that's
to
okay?
accommodate, like,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. Is like when
Mm.
you are working with a doctor or a team that you're comfortable with, that you can be open and transparent with. Now it's, this is where I am. It's all on the table. Let's find something that allows, this is what my philosophy, let's find something that allows me to get to the way I want, living my best life. And that's where,
Amen.
how I help. Because at the end of the day, if I can't still live my best life, what are we doing?
Again, financial planning. Let's come up with a financial plan that allows you to live your best life while still getting the things you want financially.
Absolutely. So we don't do
Yes.
any types of restrictive diets. I don't eliminate this. I don't tell you can't drink this or can't do that. Please, for what? If I tell people anybody can help you lose weight. If I tell you to cut out all the carbs, anybody can do that. You don't need a degree to do that.
Yeah, but can you maintain it though? But
Correct.
can you maintain it?
And you cannot, which is why that's not
Yo-yo all day. Mm-hmm.
all day, which is why
All
there's
day.
no skill to that.
Got it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we need to transition, but I have more questions because I'm very excited and intrigued about what you do. So, the first question is: I know that you're in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for your clinic? Can you only work with patients in Georgia, or is this a nationwide thing, or how does that
No,
work?
it's nationwide. So one, I'm licensed in a lot of states, but
Okay,
because it's virtual, I see patients in a lot of states.
awesome.
So yeah, schedule an appointment. I accept insurance. So
That was the
um,
next question. Okay, all right. Okay?
and we
You knew
also
what
have
you knew.
cash pay options as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So link is in the show notes, folks. If you want to learn more, if you'd like a licensed, credentialed physician to help you, reach out. Because hey, for those of you that are my clients that are listening, we've talked about the amount of money that you spend on food.
Mm.
And you said, yeah, I bet if I could do better there, I could also drop some of these extra LBs. And like, yeah, well, if you need some help, here's someone that can definitely help you. So thank you for answering those questions. So I'd like to transition because this is a money podcast, money script podcast. We do ask all of our attendees or guests one question. Now, I know you and your husband were on the show. Man, that was our first season.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Were you guys, did we ever record that episode?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Or maybe we didn't. Okay. Well, I don't know. I got to go back and look. So here's my question to you. And I don't know if it's a repeat question. That's why I was trying to bring it up. Or maybe that was him that was on the show. Anyways, the question is, what is your first memory of money?
Mm. Oh, well, I guess my first memory of money has always been working for it. I mean, I grew up, my parents, my father's a physician, my mother is a principal, but they both were of limited means. So although I grew up, I guess, privileged or blessed,
Okay.
I did not have I was blessed. I did not have a privileged mindset or experience, I would say. So anything that I wanted or desired, my parents made me work for it. So I remember from the time that I could do anything, my parents made me do that to earn money. Everything from cleaning the house to earn money, to like in the summertime, I would work in my dad's office, answering the telephone. So I learned like very early on, like how to schedule patients in his office. Like I legit knew how to like do medical billing. I remember I was 13 years old.
So you're a practice manager as a teenager. Look at that.
Wow. When I say legit, like I knew how to do medical billing, all of that at 13, 14 years old. Yeah, so that was my earliest, and my earliest memory was a reversible FUBU jacket that I remember. It was $200. We went
blue and yellow, red and blue,
red and black,
red and black. Okay, all right. Okay.
And I remember it was in the Macy's at the Fox Hills Mall. I went with my mom. And I wanted that thing so bad. And she looked at that price and she said, absolutely not. And she was like, absolutely. She said, first of all, we're in California. No. But I swear I wanted that thing so bad.
Oh, gosh, that's awesome.
And she was like, girl, no. So I remember working for it. I cleaned the house top to bottom. It took me a month of work, like cleaning the house top to bottom to earn enough money to buy that jacket. And when I tell you I wore it, it didn't matter the weather. It didn't matter how I wore that jacket. Every chance I got. And I switched it from red to black and that was my first memory because I earned that jacket and I was going to wear it all the time. And I did.
Shout out to Damon John, FUBU. Part of a lot of my first memories of earning money and spending money also have FUBU attached to them.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
I think I might still have a jacket in my closet at my mom's house, just like for memory's sake. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. That is incredible. That's a beautiful story. Beautiful story. Well, thank you, Dr. Cee Nicole, for spending some time with us on the Money Script podcast. Really quick to recap for everyone. Number one, yes, you're probably spending a little more for food than what you were spending before because the price of food went up. We call that inflation. However, we're seeing prices come down just a little bit. So maybe you get a little bit of relief as you're doing some of that holiday prepping, or if you're listening to this at some other time of the year, hopefully prices have come down a little bit more, or at least just stay the same. Getting sick of all these increases. Speaking of increases, one other thing. If you live in the Americas, in the United States, because I know we're a worldwide podcast, but if you're in the United States, you may have noticed that your auto insurance went up pretty significantly. It's not you. It's not because they thought you got in an accident. On average, auto insurance went up 27% this year. That's a lot. Happened to me too, and I have a 22-year-old driver attached to my insurance. Oh my gosh. I was like, bro, you need a bike. But it's happening to everyone. So it's really, I mean, yeah, you might be able to switch to another company. They'll give you a good teaser rate, but trust me, they're going to raise that rate in the next couple of years. So it's kind of is what it is. Welcome to America and our crazy streets. But back to our show for today. So again, if you are someone that is looking for some assistance, wait a minute. We found you some help. And that's the play on words. Did I do it there? Wait a minute, clinic. Found you some help. Dr. Cee Nicole and her team would love to talk to you. All of our links are in the show notes. We'll have her say them out loud here in just a second. And also, I just learned today that it's an adjective. No, did I say it? No, it's not an adjective. It's a noun. So we are not fat. We have fat.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not an adjective. It's a noun. Just like I've said many times, you are not broke, just your bank account is low. It's not you. So that is beautiful. I'm so glad you helped me with that. And I'm glad you shared with me now while I can be more careful and knowledgeable, especially being this girl dad. Speaking of girl dads, I will throw one other thing out there. You can say it out loud because I'm sure he can't hear you. But what does Obi want for Christmas?
So you've seen that he knits everything.
Okay.
So he's learning it on YouTube because I know nothing about knitting. So he has made everything from socks. He's making a sweater, hats, purses. I don't know where this kid gets it. So he loves yarn and all of those things. He's also teaching himself music. Again, I don't know where he gets this from because like legit teaching himself songs. and
So what is he learning music on? What is it?
He is playing the xylophone, and he is working up to earning me buying him a keyboard.
Noted. Okay. So I could just make a little keyboard contribution fund and I'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's earning. He's working because he wants a keyboard. He also wants a drum set, but I'm not doing it.
Okay, so now here's on the drum set. So one thing on the drum set, and this is for all the parents out there that want drum set. There are, especially when they're starting out, there's what's called a drum pad.
He has.
So he has a pad with the headphones.
He does. He does.
But he wants.
He has the pads, and he does that, and he's very good at that.
Okay, but he's ready to go to the full set.
Yeah.
Oh, so he thinks, but he doesn't realize that you don't have a separate house to put him in.
Correct. So he's, I don't know. I mean, he's my brother. He is very, he's very talented, that kid.
Okay. Sounds like a Renaissance man. I like it. All right. So, for those that are driving and have a really good memory and haven't gone to the show notes, where can they find you? How can they get more information about Wait a Minute Clinic?
www.waitaminuteclinic.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at Wait a Minute Clinic, or at Dr. Cee Nicole. Facebook, same thing, Wait a Minute Clinic or Dr. Cee Nicole. Yeah.
And yes, that is the play on words, folks. It's not wait, W-A-I-T. It's the heavy one.
Yes, the heavy one.
There we go. The heavy one. Okay, got it. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest on the Money Script podcast. I learned so much from you today. I am expecting, I'm just going to say this, I am expecting that under my tree, there's an autographed copy of your book this year.
Of course.
Okay. Because Alicia and I talked about it, and I was like, I need an autograph copy, because when she's on Oprah, I want to be like, I got an autograph copy.
From your lips to God's ears. Absolutely.
There we go. Hey, Oprah, I know you listen to the show. Just call her up. Just hit her up. Actually, Oprah, I know you don't listen to the show. Oprah's people, I know you listen to the show. Let Oprah listen to it.
You don't know.
And we just do it from there. Well, no, but her people got to listen to it first. And they're like, hey, Oprah, you should hear this. So Oprah's people, now that you've heard it, tell her to listen to it. And we have a new book for her book club.
Yeah. My girl Michelle listening too.
There you go. See? Good to see you.
You too.
I will see you in May at the Morehouse graduation.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Okay. Don't be going out of town. May 17th. Don't go nowhere. Be in town.
I'll be here.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for listening. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Please.
And get some of this free game. Get some of this free game. We're here for you. We'll see you next time.